Greetings, my fellow warriors. So, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So, I want to answer today one specific question. In any calculation, economical calculations with the stocks and with the value of the company, we need to know how many shares we have. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, both together, currently have around 2 billion shares. Fannie Mae has 1.2, Freddie Mac around 0.8, more or less, but it is in that range. With the IPO and uplist in the future, let's say next some certain period in the future, what we can expect, how many shares to have. That is the crucial question for us in order to calculate the value of the company. So on one side is what is the value of the company, on the other side how many shares we have. So you take the value of the company divided with number of shares, that is the value of the share. But let's answer how many shares do we have. So 2 billion is a starting point, and since 2008 we have 2 billion shares, and that stays there. They try to dilute it, they try to do this and that, they were unsuccessful. Only what Obama administration managed to do regarding the number of the shares is creating the warrants. And those warrants that exist right now, they're creating, I think, 2012, something around that. Don't capture me in day or like in 10%, but I'm in ball range. I'm there. 2012 created Obama administration created the warrants for some really small nominal amount, around, let's say, like even 0.001 cent per dollar per warrant. At the moment when the warrant was when the stock was around a couple of dollars. So number one, that was done against the rules. You cannot create the warrants for zero when the stock has some value, and so it is unrealistic. It should follow and be approximately close to the value of the share, the common share. And but the administration done it. So basically, that is the first problem with the warrants. Number of warrants that were created is 8 billion for both together. I'm talking Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac together. So we have 2 billion currently. They created for 79.9% warrants. Those warrants expire in 2028, 2027, one of those 2 years. So they expire soon, I think 2027. Unless they're executed, they will expire. If they expire, they're worthless. They try to push the government, even under Trump administration, try to push the date of the warrant execution in the future, and they fail. So that cannot be done. So only what can be done is actually that they take and exercise the warrants. Why I think it is not right. I think it is wrong to do it. I think it is they should not have the right, but obviously they will do it. Nobody asks the weak what strong should do. Period. Like they have the power, they have the leverage of the power. Especially now they have the excuse. The current administration have the excuse to say, okay, it's not our responsibility that Obama created warrants illegally. We just accepted them. That is on one side. On the other side would be, I would do the same. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's proper way to do it. But in case that I have the option, like I'm on the place of the government, I would do the same. I would take and accessory the warrants. And then that creates that company has 10 billion shares. Any other story about the possible or further dilution of the stocks, it is or creating some other number of the shares for some other purpose. No, that is not in a ball game at all. There's some kind of fake stories. Maybe somebody you heard about the senior preferred shares to be converted to common. That is not happening because number one, if nothing else, because in senior preferred shares are deemed as non-convertible. Then the other share class that we have is junior preferred shares that are also non-convertible, except one series, but everything else is non-convertible. So that cannot be created in moved in a common shares. Doing something like that would breach the contract. If it breaches the contract in any aspect, that creates the possibility of the new lawsuits, and they don't want that. If you have new lawsuits, it is another 10 years that they cannot do anything with the company. So that is out of the question that they create that kind of big problem. So number of the shares we have for your calculation is 10 billion. That is with execution of the warrants. Right now we have 2. When they execute the 4 warrants, they will have another 8 billion shares, so it is 10. 10 is for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac together. That means that at the end of let's say that Fannie Mae will have 6 billion shares and Fannie Mae will have around 4 billion shares. So in your calculation, take that in mind. Other dilutions are unrealistic. It is like just some kind of desire of few person who have personal interests, but in reality they're out of the game. So basically that is the most crucial, most important question. So Fannie Mae have in the future have 6 billion, Freddie Mac have 4 billion shares. End of the story. That is with the warrants executed. Warrants that are illegal, warrants that are a big problem, but they will, no matter how much I think they should not, and they don't have the right, they obviously have the power. And in a world of the reality, if you have power to do something like that, especially if the question is $100 billion, you do it. Even if there is some kind of legislation down the road, so what? Also, the question is, will the companies who are buying those warrants, the banks or the investors, will they care are the warrants executed? That is another question. So basically, they do care, but if the government execute the warrants and sell the shares, and those shares by that company are sold again, it goes into the pool, it is end of the story. So they can create one entity, let's say like Dragon Corporation, and he is the Chase, and they buy the warrants. Dragon buy the warrants from the government, not warrants, they buy the shares. Government execute the warrants, they buy the shares, they sell to them, but it doesn't need to go, it can go through the common pool, and they don't become traceable. So all overall, and when we start the suit, you can sue the government by, like in 10 years, in 20 years when you won, if you survive 10 years, like, okay, I will. But some people, like it was 2008, some people waited for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to, be removed, and they died. And in case that in that story you sue the government, it was 10 years ago. Who cares? They took the money. Maybe they will even pay some money, but in that meantime, the money will grow more. They will make the profit. You will get some change. But reality is 10 billion shares we have. Fannie Mae has 6 billion. Freddie Mac has 4. Put that in your calculus.